very much important topic. So we know that the demand equation, the factors that affecting to the demand, everything we know already. But the most important thing is, as a businesses, suppose that you have a business, therefore you want to know the product that you are selling. What are the factors that create the demand for your product? What are the factors that create demand for your product? So then, as a excellent businesses, you should aware always how those factors is affecting, and you should be alert whether those factors are changing, and then after those changes, what will happen to your business or your sales? From your point of view, it is your sales. From the customer's side, it is their demand. You have to create a big demand for your product. So therefore, estimating a demand function and also forecasting is very, very important for the business. Not only the estimation always doing with the help of past data, historical data. But historical data, not that important. If you are not using the historical data for the forecasting the future. So therefore, forecasting the future is very much important. Right? So therefore, objective of this topic is mainly estimate the demand equation and use this estimated demand equation for forecasting purposes. So, demand estimation and forecasting. So, this briefly says information about the demand is essential. Why it is essential? For making pricing and production decisions. The knowledge of future demand very much useful to managers. Why? They are the one who planning the production schedule, inventory controls, advertising campaigns, and the future output, for each and every period, and to take investment decisions. For all these things, future planning is very, very important for the businesses, managers. Without planning, you cannot do any of these things. Advertising campaign. Why you want to do advertising campaign? Advertising is to sell more. If you are not producing more, then no point of advertising as well. Output in future periods is very much important. Now in Sri Lanka as a country is struggling with many essential goods. Right? So we don't know, and the authority says that we don't have the proper data. So we have not taken a decision or scientific decision on the basis of the data. So therefore, now we don't know when the next paddy harvest comes, how much is cultivating, and even we are not forecasting the weather and the changes, climate changes. Those are very difficult, of course, I know, but we can mitigate the negative impact of those things. Right? It is for sure natural that we cannot control everything, those natural things beyond our control, but still there are some steps that we can take to mitigate the negative impact. So for all these aspects, estimating the demand with the base of the historical data and forecasting the future is very much essential for the business. And an empirical demand function is actually demand equation we constructed from actual market data. That's why it is called empirical demand function. Empirical demand function are demand equations derived from actual market data. From empirical demand function, managers can get quantitative estimates of the effect on sales of changes in the price of product. As I said, if the price of product change, what will happen to the sales? And if the customer's income change, what will happen to your sales? If the prices of competing product change, what will happen to your sales? So these kind of things is very much important. And there are two different things here under this topic we have to consider. Estimating the demand for a competitive price-taking industry. Number two, estimating a demand for a single firm that possesses some degree of price-setting power. And let's talk something more on these 2 points. Number one, estimating a demand for a competitive price-taking industry. What is that? Price-taking industry. Sellers take in the price of their own product from the market. Or in other simple language, sellers not in a position to set the price for their product. Sellers or the producers or the managers, even if the product belongs to them, they are not in a position to set the price of their own product. So whatever the price that is going on the market, they have to agree, they have to accept that price. So they have to take that price. So that's why it is called price-taking industry. Competitive price-taking industry. For example, who is setting the price of vegetable? For example, I am asking you. So daily prices is changing. Who is setting? Or each and every small vendors or else the farmers? Who is setting the price for the vegetable? According to your understanding, just anything you can say.
Middleman.
Sorry?
Middleman.
Middleman is setting the price?
Say like the Dambulla market.
You can say like that. Actually, it is invisible. Invisible. Right? So, it is very difficult. Why? If middleman set one price, so others, if it is very high, others can change it. If it is very low, others can change it. Right?
Market is deciding the price.
Yeah, market is deciding. Demand and supply always determine the price. It is in Sri Lanka, every day, if you go to the Paligoda market, wholesale market, and if you have any known person, who is selling vegetable or all in the Paligoda market, you can just ask. They are starting maybe early in the morning, 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And once the vegetables and all coming from various places, various part of the country is unloading, on that time they set in the price. It is called, pulsing, in Sinhala, they say nadi balmo. So they just read the pulse, If one set the price, quickly it's spreading over the market. So that is the way, why I am saying this is competitive. There are so many farmers as well as sellers. If you take one few farmers or few sellers, the fraction belongs to them, the share out of whole market belongs to them is very, very, very small, negligible. Changing the price of the product, they cannot make even, even small impact to the market, So it is very much understandable because the vegetable, for example, one cannot say that my vegetable is very much new and the fresh and therefore that I am charging this price, this is very nutritious than others, because product also very much similar and sellers are too many sellers. Therefore, we cannot see who is setting the price. Actually, invisible hand comes from the market demand and supply. That's why it's called competitive price taking industry. So we can estimate the demand for that type of industry. And number two, estimating the demand for a single firm that possesses some degree of price setting power. For example, this is called to a certain extent monopoly, towards the monopoly. Some degree of price setting power. For example, take single product. For single product, who is setting the price? The manager or the owner or the CEO or the company can set the price. Right? And the Signal toothpaste. So many products are there because for the first category, it is very rare to give many examples. But in the second category, so there are so many examples. Firm having some or enjoying some price setting power. Okay, so therefore,
Professor, small thing.
Yeah.
So usually, is there any profit margin level for everything, or if the product is unique in the market, can they set the profit as they want, like without a margin or anything?
Under first category, the competitive price taking industry, profit is possible in the short run. Actually, we are going to discuss this topic in details in the next topic after this one, right? So, because in the short run, profit is possible. There are conditions for this market. Entry is very much easy for the competitive market. Potential entrants easily can enter, no barrier. Suppose that you want to start a business and you see the existing players making some profit. So then, since there is no any barriers or restriction, you also can enter the market. Then what will happen? Number of firms is increasing. Supply is increasing in the market. As newcomers continue to come to the market, right? The prices start coming down. Then price is matching to the cost. Until such time the price is coming down. When the price is matching to the cost, in the long run, this will take some time. In the long run, so the profit of each and every has become zero. They just can hang on the business. They can't make huge profit. But in the second one, profit is possible because they are the one who set in the price. For example, now the our rice industry, right? Now there is a kind of shortage of kind of varieties of rice, right? Now the sellers, they have the power. Nipuna, Aralia and others, they have the power. They are not, according to the government and other sources, they are not, released in the stock to the market until their price comes, right? So they have the power like this. And for example, Signal and Singer products and the Advanced product and so many others. And for example, private buses, if they cannot make any profit, they will go out from the business, right? will start another business. So because they are the ones who set in the price for the product. So under second category, profit is possible both in the short run and in the long run. But under first category, profit is possible only in the short run. In the long run, profit comes to a zero or normal profit situation. Don't worry, we will discuss these two in details after this topic. Okay, so here we will focus on estimating the demand for the price setting firm under second category, because for the first category we cannot find the enough number of firms, right? So therefore it is very much important to estimate the demand for price setting firms. So therefore we'll concentrate only on number 2. And to estimate the demand, there are 2 methods. One is direct method of demand estimation. Direct methods of demand estimation. This method is quite simple and straightforward, but far from the truth due to many reasons, right? So directly you meet the potential customers and ask, how about your demand? They will say their answer. But why it is far from truth? Because these are the direct methods. Some of the direct method I mentioned here for you to understand. Consumer surveys. Suppose you have one product, you want to know how customers are taking this product, customers' views on this product. You are going to change the design or the color or whatever. Then after those changings, or even as a new product, you want to know the customer's views on your product. So therefore, carefully you are constructing the questionnaire and you are finding the people to fill those questionnaires, say university undergraduates, So you are choosing a team from the university undergraduates to fill your questionnaires and ask those people to go straight away and meet the potential customers and get the information to the questionnaire. Okay, so their income level, their preferences, and the family backgrounds, and the willingness to buy your product, and so many questions that you can put in. Right? So you train the the research team as well, and then you are asking to go and meet the customers. Suppose that in one holiday you are leisurely staying at home. Somebody knocking at your door, right? You open the door and you see one or two young guys, okay, maybe university student, just telling you, so we are from the university, we are doing one research, so that's why we came. We have to fill one questionnaire from you. Is it okay to allocate some few minutes on this? You like that, they will say. Now frankly asking from you, how do you feel? Is that comfortable to you? Are you ready to give your information to them, frankly speaking? On a holiday, if somebody come in and asking this one, what do you feel? I'm asking you.
We want we don't like to give information to outsiders.
Yeah, and also that you don't like to get any disturbance for your leisure time, because that is holiday. You're freely staying at home, right? So you not very much interesting, right? So, and also at the same time, you know how it is important. Therefore, because you are also a postgraduate student, you know how importance of giving those information, because you are not in a position to send them back, and even though you are not very much interested, okay, so something like that, you start off giving answers. Then quickly, even getting the questions clearly to your mind, you will say yes, no, don't know, right? That kind of answers you will give. Those are not very much actual, right? So they don't know, but they are taking whatever you say. On the basis of those information, they are coming to a sort of conclusion after the analysis. Okay, now you know how this analyzed result can be matched with the reality. It's far from the reality. It is not truth, right? Subjective phenomenon, feelings are included in those answers. Those are not very much accurate. Can you understand? Okay, so, and also some information, even if you are ready to give, right? So it is very difficult to take. Suppose you are doing in a supermarket, somebody coming and meeting you and asked to fill the questionnaire. It's not very much comfortable, right? And also, the university student, they know that, right? The owner or the researcher is not in a position to whether they are doing this one honestly or not. They can take the questionnaires home and fill all the questionnaires in one night and return, right? They just say that I interview Piyadasa and I interview Rammanika, I interview Siripala, write in that, So they filling by themselves and giving. So these kind of things are also possible, right? And also this is costly, far from the truth, and also costly, and because of this cost and time consuming, you cannot do these kind of surveys repeatedly. Another thing, if your rivals firms get to know that you are doing this kind of research, they can sabotage, right? They purposely sending their team, right, spoil your research. Those things happening in the market. Another thing is observational research. This is not a questionnaire type of thing. You observe how the behavior of the consumers. You introduce some new changes to your product and put as usual in the supermarket or wherever that you are going to sell those, and you observe how the customer's reaction is towards your product. This is also very much challenging one. Suppose that when you do shopping, you notice that somebody is being observed your behavior inside the supermarket. Then how would be after that your reaction? Right? And also in a supermarket or shopping mall, in the sensitive areas, especially the female ready-made garments area or something like that, female or male or whatever. Somebody is watching your behavior. You notice it. So it is not comfortable, and is taking the correct information by observing is dangerous as well. Right? Right? So you can't do these kind of things repeatedly as well. And another thing is consumer clinic, but in our countries you don't see this kind. In the developed countries here and there, and now this is very much obsolete one as well. You have the separate supermarket is there. Right? Selected customers, you can choose the customer group and you can give the money for the customers, and you ask them to do shopping on their own way. Right? So separate. there is a separate place, the supermarket constructed, right? And then you choosing some customers to notice their behavior, and you give the money and ask to do shopping as their own way. This is also very much artificial, right? Because customers know that they are in a kind of artificial place. It's not natural. And also customers thinking that so money is, came to their hand freely, that is a kind of benefit for them. So even they can buy some unwanted things as well. So this is all a very much scientific or accurate things. And the market experiment, that is, in one market you put one product, and slightly different product you can put another market and see the changes. Then you can understand something. Right? Those, there are, many ways that you can take the ideas of the consumers or behaviors of the consumers, reaction of the consumers towards your product. Right? So those are, now you can understand why they are far from the reality. I put, advantages and disadvantage under each and every, at least one or two advantages for you to understand clearly these things. But I asking you to read more than this on each and every of these topics. Consumer surveys. These surveys require questioning of a firm's customers. For that, need carefully constructed representative sample of consumers interviewed by trained interviewers. That's why I asked you to get the educated trained interviewers. Maybe possibly university undergraduate is okay for that. And major advantage of that can be made as simple as possible, because you are the one who preparing the questionnaire and can ask exact question that you want to know. And the major disadvantage, consumers may be unable or unwilling to provide the reliable answers. So income data you are not revealing. Right? Careful and extensive surveys can be very expensive. Okay? And observational research, firm can change the price and other determinants of the demand for the commodity in actual marketplace. Therefore, you can observe after introducing these changes. Major advantages, consumers are in a real market situation. They do not know that they are being observed. They do not know they are being observed. Can be conducted on a large scale to ensure the validity of the results. Disadvantage, in order to keep the cost down, the experiment may be too limited, because you can't do extensively for this. Outcome can be questionable because competitors could try to sabotage the experiment by changing the prices and the other determinants of the demand under their control. Competitors can monitor the experiment to gain very useful information about the firm, would prefer not to disclose. From other rivals can get some important information from this as well. Consumer clinic, these are laboratory experiments in which the participants are given sum of money and asked to spend it in a simulated store to see how they react to changes in the price, packing, displays, prices related and other factors. It's a kind of artificial place. Participants in the experiment can be selected so as close to represent the socio-economic characteristic of the market of interest. Major advantages, avoid the drawbacks of actual market experiment. No sabotage comes. This is separate place. But major disadvantages are, the results are questionable because participants know that they are in an artificial situation. They know also that they are being observed. Sample of participants must necessarily be small because cost is very high. And I do not need to read all these things. Market experiment conducted in actual marketplace, selected several markets with a similar socio-economic characteristic and change some determinants in one market and record the difference. Advantage can be conducted in a larger scale, but and higher validity because you are doing it in actual marketplace. Major advantage again the cost, right? You need to keep cost down, but otherwise you can't control this one. And limited scale and over short period of time, strike, unusual weather can affect it. Those are uncontrollable. Competitors also can try to sabotage. Like this, there are so many ways that you can directly get the information about the demand of your product. That's why at the beginning, this method are direct method of estimating the demand. Direct method. But, due to these reasons that so far we have discussed, the result you getting from these experiments can be far from the actual practice. So therefore, on the basis of these kind of information, taking the decision on the future is not, it is always risky. It will not become very much accurate as well. Therefore, we have to go for more scientific demand estimation method. Okay, so what my request from you is, better you read some more on these consumer surveys, market experiment, laboratory observational research, and like this. Maybe it is not a difficult task if you ask Google, right? Advantages and disadvantages of the observational research and the questionnaire fillings and all these things. You can get the most important reading than this. Just to mention this, I just put one or two advantages and few direct demand methods. I hope that you understood why these methods, not revealing the truth, because the information is very much biased and also subjective and can change even from the single person, according to their moods and the place of living. So many subjective feelings can be included on the answer. That's why those findings will not become very much matching with the reality. So therefore, we have to go for empirical demand function and use the techniques of regression analysis to obtain the estimates of the demand for the firm's product. So any clarification that you need on this? Anything? Is that clear? Any question? Or is it okay for you all?
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay, right. Now, this is very much important. Most probably I will give your take-home assignment from this topic. So, and also the same question I will put for the semester end examination as well. So, therefore, from this topic only, you can take the marks twice. One time from the take-home assignment, one time for the same question in the final examination. So therefore, pay little more attention compared to other topics for this, right? All the topics are important, but pay more attention to this one. Use the techniques of regression analysis to obtain the estimates of the demand for the first product. It is necessary to use specific functional form. So therefore, we using the linear and the non-linear two functional form here, right? The linear functional form may be in a graph. Suppose that if it is a demand curve like this, there can be a straight line. If it is a supply curve, a straight line. These are linear. Okay, non-linear, right? Maybe curve like this, or curve like this. These also can be the demand information. So these are non-linear. Then how we can say our product has linear demand function or non-linear demand function? There are many functional forms, but here in this topic, I am focusing only for linear, non-linear, two different type of functional forms. And for example, for you to understand, I am just telling that, suppose that this is expenditure on food, your family's food expenditure, right? Here you put income, family income. What will be the shape of this curve? Vertical axis we put expenditure on food, family's food. Horizontal axis, family income. So what kind of line is suitable for this? You understand my question?
Linear line.
Linear and what shape? You know, linear downward like this or linear upward like this?
Upward like this.
Upward. That means as your income increases, you always continue to eat more and more. Is that so? If your income double, you eat, your rice consumption is going to be double, or you are increasing the food expenditure at the same percentage. Oh, it is very much flat like this. When your income double, you slightly increase in the expenditure on food. So always you are increasing the expenditure on food as with the increases of your income. What others says?
It won't increase after certain level.
Yes, it won't increase after certain level. Then what will be the shape of the curve? You know, for at the very beginning, maybe it is okay, like this. Okay? And after certain level, you know, so you're starting from zero, right? If income is zero, food expenditure naturally becomes zero. Then increasing with the initial level, right? Initial level, like this. And suppose that this is very much threshold level, your income is maximum, and when you come up to this, you consume almost everything. You are in a position. But even after this point, if income increase, right, this curve will be like this, because nothing to get more. Right? So it is, this type of curve is somewhat okay for this. You know, after this income level, you know, any extra income you don't want to spend anything on food because everything you fulfill once, this is the maximum. After the maximum, you can't eat. Right? After the maximum, you can't eat. So therefore, whatever the additional income is not affecting on the food. So what is this curve? In order to understand this relationship, we need different functional form. Right? That's why I said we do have so many functional forms, but in this topic, I'm going to discuss with you linear and non-linear, two forms only. In general demand relation, quantity demanded depends on, this one, price of the product, consumer income, price of related good, consumer taste or preferences, expected price, number of buyers. Because at the very beginning of this class, we started the class, talking about this kind of demand function. Right? Quantity demand is a function of price, consumer income, prices of related product, and consumer taste, expected future price, and the number of firms or the buyers, number of buyers. And then we wrote this function in this way with adding parameters, right? So A, or whatever the symbol that you can put, right? So you can put alpha plus B, P, B1, P, and then beta 2M plus beta 3 PR plus, like this you can expand this equation. These are called, what are these are? We gave common name for this. These are, forget already? Can you read this one? Parameter or coefficient. So we have to estimate these coefficients or the parameters. We have to get the values. If we can get the values for these, plugging the actual market price here, income here, and the prices of related product here, we can get the quantity demand. Getting the values of these parameters, simply estimating the demand equation. Okay? So before that, you have to select the product and then you have to identify what are the factors that determine the demand of that product. Right? For example, say you are selling pizza. What are the factors that determine the demand for pizza? Tell me one or two. Pizza demand is depending on, yes, of course, pizza price. Then the people's income. What else we can take?
Domino's pizza.
Yeah, Domino's and pizza. Domino's pizza. Price of related pizza. What else? What else? To explain the pizza demand, these three is okay? Enough?
Customer income,
Income is already got.
customer taste,
Taste, okay. And why about advertising? Taste is not easy to measure, but of course possible, but it's not easy to measure. Advertising? like that, you should be able to identify that all the demand determined. Right? Okay, this is the function that we are going to study. Okay, now I have to attend 9:30 a different function, right? I cannot avoid because as the dean, I must be there sharp at 9:30, and the function will be 1 hour function. Then it be 10:30. Is it okay to start 10:30? If you are ready, that 10:30 to 11:30, I can do 1 hour. Shall we try?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So then I can come back around 10:30. Sorry for this. Okay.